Yo, bonsoir tout le monde, comment ça va? J'ai un chat complètement fou à côté. J'ai un chat complètement fou qui est en train de me ruiner un plaid. Aïe 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 aïe. Ok, mes écouteurs. Qu'est-ce qui fait chaud? Qu'est-ce qui fait chaud? 31 degrés, le PC il dit. Mais... Ok, écouteur droite, écouteur gauche. Donc la dernière fois j'ai fade ça à nouveau. Barge. Barge. Ok. J'ai pas de points, 60, il me manque 40. Là, je suis pas sûr. Bonus from items. Je vais regarder ce qui me donne des moins 1. On va... Cravate, tout donne des moins 1, plus 1 en drama. Un en perception, plus 1 et moins, plus, moins, plus, plus, moins, plus, moins, plus, moins, plus, moins, plus, moins, plus, moins. Écoute, je vais me promener comme ça. Je vais me promener comme ça, tiens. Ensuite. Ok, restock. Cab leader. Mine de rien, j'en ai fait quelques-unes. C'est quoi tous ces trucs à droite? Ah oui, les white checks. Barbel. Gary. Gary, je l'ai pas trouvé, Gary. René, ce sera un red check. D'ailleurs, il me dit, mais c'est un red check. Aucun de balcony. Ah oui. Ça, on peut faire. Mais je me souviens plus où il est. Smoker on the balcony. Mais il était dans le bar. Il est dans le bar, oui. Il est pas sur le balcon. Gary, je sais pas où il est.
okay? Kuno doesn't.
You see a set of tire tracks in a
J'avais jamais
brown
fait
slush
attention à
that
ça.
covers the plaza mosaic. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber.
Attends. Je loupe ça depuis le début, là, ou... J'ai jamais fait attention.
Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This is point A. The driver started there, and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. Why that pang of guilt again? The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry.
No wonder the cafeteria manager seemed frustrated when he was giving us directions to the yard. Well, you did provide us with a very convenient access point to the crime scene.
The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps.
Ok, ok. Non, est-ce que Gary, il est toujours là? Pas Gary, mais... Ah, je sais plus. Le fumeur.
Yes? What is it? It means I'm a patrol officer, sir.
Hmm. Ah oui, je voulais aller voir aussi Measure Head et tester, tester peut-être en buvant de l'alcool ou quelque chose pour augmenter ma force ou je sais pas quoi.
Hola, Wandering Man.
Cette porte est toujours fermée en fait.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Please, stop doing this. You are making us look bad.
Ok, attends, 2 secondes mec. Ah putain, mais il y avait plein d'autres trucs. Oh. Interfacing, mes gloves, là, ils font quoi 2 en interfacing. Mes chaussures, plus, moins, plus, moins, plus. Plus en endurance. Plus, moins. Plus. Panorama. Plus, moins, plus en perception. Plus, moins, plus. Ok. On va voir ce que ça donne. Il parle.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Ok. Et donc maintenant... Physique. Si je gonfle le physique... Donc rose et jaune. Là par exemple on a du jaune. Glasses. Voilà. Jacket. Ça pourrait le faire. Ça c'est encore mieux. Ok. Le collier, la cravate. Non. Quand plus 1, 2. Ok, alors attends. On ça dans l'ordre. Shirt. 1 en physique. Tac, tac. Ok, ensuite les gants. Je pense pas qu'on puisse faire mieux. Les pantalons plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Pantalon. Ça, 1, moins 1, c'est pas bon. Bottes plus 1 en perception. Ça, c'est mieux ça. Ok. Bon, voyons voir maintenant quand on lui parle.
The unpromising race pupil
Toujours à 58. Et si maintenant je prends une boisson? Tools. Ça en physique. J'arrive pas à utiliser
Now that you've acquired some stimulants,
Okay.
it's time for a little pick-me-up. Time to detect. You raise the bottle, close a nostril, and inhale furiously. The rush is almost immediate. It tastes bitter and caustic and stings a bit inside your nose. Now the taste is slowly receding into your throat. The rush is growing in intensity, your little heart pounding like a bird in a cage. A sweat breaks out across your brow. Your jaw clenches. And, let's be honest, there's a little chest pain. The good kind, of course. You may want to blast a nosophed or something. You could work with this high. Like, literally, work. Whoa, this shit is strong. Time for a little truth. Tell the lieutenant you did some. Clear the air. Spring, spring.
Ok, donc on a fait ça. C'est quoi l'autre que je voulais tester? Ça, je crois. Oh. J'avais même pas fait gaffe. Ok. Qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant si on parle à machin? Ouais, je vois bien les échos sur ma tête.
The unpromising raised pupil returns.
Ok.
Just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat, into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break. The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around
Duncan
him.
Master.
In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. Now's the time for a spin kick. He expects the 1-2, not the 1-360. No, don't be a fucking ballerina. Rip into him. Right hook. Get intimate with him. Oh God, wrong move. Your fist is in his hand
Merde.
again, like a pair of forceps crushing you. He has a monstrous recovery.
You know the words. I am a degenerate drunk.
Take the pain, goddammit. At least take that. Even under the increased force on your skull, there is no pain. Just the sound of your own blood gushing in there, feeding your mind with oxygen.
It must be neurodegenerative. You never learn.
Just like that, the man is all you hear is a small gurgling sound.
Ouh.
The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is as you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
Une bonne chose de faite.
Her voice is surprisingly calm.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring. The man is still.
Yes?
Attends. Attends, je le démonte et ensuite je peux passer par cette porte. Est-ce que j'ai récupéré une clé ou quelque chose? Yeah, j'ai pas compris. Qu'est-ce que je veux dire? Il n'y aurait pas d'autre chose que je puisse faire en me boostant, peut-être.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952. And a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993. Calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here. No. Maybe you call to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November 46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one. It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia. No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Maine.
On the corner of Voyager and Maine, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building. Video Revachol, 24 hours. It's raining and there is almost no traffic on the street. A woman's footprints in the mud lead away from the front door.
C'était lequel le... celui où je dois sauter, c'est... celui-là, savoir-faire. Savoir-faire. Je vais continuer de gonfler savoir-faire du coup. Il est où?
Tiny heels tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed with a lifetime ahead of them. You look up and the air seems to grow darker. Suddenly you feel like you don't want to hear about video rentals anymore. You don't want to hear about any of it. It was all shit. It's over.
That's enough for you today. Let's conclude this call.
Ok. On va voir ça.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. No advertisements, you notice. So who's funding this radical commentary? After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition. You flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment, but gradually. Obviously, because it's cool to drop random phrases in foreign languages.
Oh, yeah.
It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. That certainly sounds like a certain delinquent youth who likes to harass you from her balcony. The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a frita. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave. It's the stilted language and overconfident tone that's the real giveaway here. You're almost certainly reading a recycled university essay, one that could probably use some edits. Armed with the lieutenant's trusty blue pen, you spend entirely too much time striking every meaningless word and unsubstantiated claim you come across. By the time you're finished, the original article is nearly illegible.
You know, most people would just write a letter to the editor. Or even better, just leave it be. I can imagine. Something tells me there's not exactly a glut of young communists itching to write about Tip-Top for La Fumée. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turned to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
Je reviens. Désolé, j'ai tendance à être super sensible au courant d'air et je sais pas où est mon chat. Probablement dans un de ses forts. Il fait des méga forts à la community. Ah ouais.
Perhaps they've overestimated the market demand for this kind of commentary. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors. You flip back to the front of the...
Ok. Good job. Et on va.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Evolution. Ok.
The drawer slides shut.
Donc. Si par exemple j'ai des choses qui boostent Evolution. Ah, j'arrête pas de faire escape.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there? Good. This is probably not relevant to our case anyway.
The drawer slides.
Ok. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Hein? Ok. Très bien. Très bien. Donc du coup maintenant on peut monter. Sympa le petit appart. Ah, ok.
The tarpaulin cloak is still hanging on the railing. The white rectangle of the Revachol Citizens Militia is clearly visible on its back. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying.
J'ai un doute là.
of those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. It really, really doesn't. Let's turn our attention elsewhere and move on.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather. You need to rest. Your body is aching. Getting in here has taken something out of you. Have a seat.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. Looks like the inhabitant is rather pedantic when it comes to order. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform. The girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that picture of René? You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure, as long as it doesn't take up a whole lot of time.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date. You take the painkillers. They are yours now.
Cool.
Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Maybe this was a bad idea. You stand and exit the booth.
Est-ce que c'est Joyce?
This is the night watch.
Ok. Ah ok, je vois où on est. Oui, 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 tout à fait. J'ai un peu de mal à comprendre les perspectives.
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Allumer, on, étendre, off. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Ok.
And with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. This crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. To move this container. Who can say? All you know is, it's special.
I can't see how that was worth the ruckus, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does. Reverscholian nationhood. The Revacholian state will be a serene
Je me prends des malus avec ces histoires de thoughts. Ce qu'on utilise pour...
Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Is this like your thing with that wall again? You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? There may very well be, but we are not here to look for that. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to get the body down from the tree.
No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything. You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. You're back before the cargo container.
Ok. Ah. Non, c'est fermé. Ok.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard. Everard, 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 he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister? I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down besides the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes I am, yes I am.
You see disdain in the lieutenant's dark eyes when they meet yours for a moment. He does not approve of you ridiculing this little man.
Oh, mister, I do a lot more than that. I really do most everything around here. Mr. Everett said many times I'm irreplaceable.
He really takes great pride in being...
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
Wow.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
Don't go all bad cop on this simple, friendly fellow.
Il y a un chat par ici ou... Je le vois là-bas.
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business. But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after this. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends. He's friends with everyone around here. Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school, we did, when we were boys. Oh, Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am, yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them. Sure, mister. About what? Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Sure, mister. Oh, yes. Born and raised in Irish, people say us Ubis are up to all sorts of...
Thank you for clarifying.
Oh, most of the... We're on a strike.
So no...
Not it, but Titus and his boys got into some... Like what, mister? Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am, yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot... Sure, mister. Bye-bye now.
Logique, 58%. Tac, tac. Ok, voyons voir si c'est mieux.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be... Sure, mister. Absolute. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
The containers in the yard are green in Wild Pine's livery, and the mountains rising behind Leo is all red in Union colors. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yard's core.
No, not really. Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone.
Yes, they are hiding it from the inside. All the red containers have the Debarders Union logo on them.
Oh, no trouble at all, mister. No.
Ok. Dis donc, ça m'aura pris 1000 ans pour comprendre. Hey Kate, what's up? Are you done? Good evening. I'm dead inside. What about outside? Are you dead outside? You want some coffee? Do you want some coffee? Stupid Russian? Is the customer a Russian? It's me. Okay, no stupid Russian artist. Stupid customer. I'm so slow. I'm so slow. I just understood. I just understood how the checks are working. So you need to, you know, change your clothes to increase stats to make sure to succeed. So there's that. I just understood that. But I'm happy with it. That's cool. I need to look at all my all the things and how to increase the stats, the probability. I just understood that. So I'm still not sure what this is. I'm still not sure, and I focused on this instead of this. I started to focus on this, and I think it's like, it's not the greatest, because it's giving you more like minuses than plus. Or maybe not. I have to read everything all the time to be sure. To remember. Yeah. I think that's it. And it's always costing points. You need to, it's costing a point to do that, to unlock. It's costing a point to forget as well. So all of this is costing like a lot of points, which is annoying. Ah. Okay. I don't know if it's useful. Like, let me check. Attacking physical objects heals damage. Paint thick skin. So that was cool. Okay. Oh, maybe this is why I got some money. Okay. You get some bonuses, but also like some bad stuff. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm done focusing on this. I'll do, maybe I can do more. But it's always minus. It's all minuses. I think it's all minuses until you unlock them. So yeah, at least I'm progressing, always. So I'm always progressing slowly, but I'm progressing, so that's pretty cool. How long did it take you to finish it? I've got so many quests. There's so many quests. So I need to go through them sometimes to make sure I don't forget anything. I need to do that again. But I did a lot, so I'm happy with that. I did a lot, so it's cool. I'll type. Ok, je reviens. Je vais me chercher un truc à boire. Je vous laisse avec la machine à écrire. À tout de suite.